Okay, today we are going to play a review game for our test review over 3.1 through 3.3. Please write this down on your boards and then box in the answer. Okay, so this is what some people did. They multiplied across. 3 times 2 is 6, and then they multiplied down here. 4 times 5 is 20. We know that we do have a negative times a negative, which is 2 negatives, so that would equal a positive. But then you would need to reduce, okay, because a 2 can go into both of them, and you would get 3/10. How many of you would say that was the way that you did it? Okay, there is an easier way. What could you have done to help it be easier, Reagan? Okay, cross-reduced it instead, all right? So the 2 would become a 1, and the 4 would become a 2. Now you can just multiply across. 3 times 1 is 3, and then multiply the denominators. 2 times 5 is 10. Once again, a negative times a negative equals a positive, so the correct answer is 3/10. All right, almost everybody got this one correct. We are dividing. When you are dividing, a positive divided by one negative, is your answer going to be positive or negative? It has to be negative because it's an odd number of negative signs. So the correct answer was -4. All right, the next one, we're simplifying the expression. So we're going to underline the X family and circle. Guys, what's it called when a number stands alone? A constant, very good. So the first thing we're going to do is we will add together 2/5 X minus 1/10 X. In this case, when adding and subtracting fractions, do I need a common denominator?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Whenever you add and subtract, you must. So what is the common denominator? 10. I have to multiply this by 2 in order to get that. Just the girls. What would that first fraction become? 4/10, very good. So now I have 4/10 minus 1/10. Boys, what's that answer?
That would be 3/10.
3/10. Now I'm going to show you what a lot of people did. They realized, okay, for that, I combined the X term. Then they realized I've got to combine 2 minus 5, and they knew that was -3. Someone tell me, what am I still missing there? Jocelyn? The X. This was from the X family, so please make sure you keep the variable there for the variable term. All right, for question number 4, it says identify the variable terms in the expression. Okay, when we are identifying the variable terms, remember a variable term is a term with a variable in it. Repeat after me, variable.
Variable.
Guys, what's a variable?
A number.
A letter. Okay, so I am simply finding anything that has a letter. So my variable terms are -2x and 3x. All right, for this question, all you are doing is identifying the constants. Remind me again, what's the definition of a constant? Good job. This is standing alone and that is standing alone. Just remember to keep the negative with it. Okay, on the quiz, a lot of people started underlining and circling. Why can I not do that to the original problem? Because there's parentheses. We have to get rid of the parentheses. Here, there is nothing in front of it that I need to distribute, so I am allowed to drop it down. In front of this, I have a positive. Because of that, I am allowed to drop everything else down and remove the parentheses. Let's find like terms. The X family and the constant family. Let's combine the variable term first. Guys, what's 5x minus 2x? 3x. Now you're going to combine the constants. What is 7 minus 4? 3. Positive 3 or negative 3?
Positive.
Positive 3. So the correct answer is 3x plus 3. All right, for problem number 6, we do not need the original parentheses. Next up, because there's a plus in front of it, remember I'm allowed to drop everything else down, and I don't have to change any signs inside the parentheses. Now I can underline the Y family and circle the constants. Guys, what's -2y minus 3y?
-5y.
Very good. We had same sign, add the numbers, and keep the sign. Now combine the constants, and what do you get? Positive or -10?
Positive.
Positive 10. For number 7, this was the most commonly missed problem on our quiz yesterday, okay? So I do not need those parentheses there. So drop down without the parentheses. Do we like it when there's a negative in front? No, we have to distribute that negative sign to everything on the parentheses behind it. I give you permission to change that minus to a plus, but what has to happen to everything on the inside? It becomes the opposite. Instead of positive 9x, we turn that into a negative 9x. Instead of a positive 8, we turn it into a negative 8. Okay, so you can see in red where I changed the signs. Now you are allowed to underline and circle. Please don't underline and circle whenever there are still parentheses there. Girls, what is negative 3x plus negative 9x? Same sign, add the numbers, keep the sign. 3 plus 9 is 12. Keep the sign, which is a negative. If yours doesn't look like mine, erase your boards and fix it. Now, just the boys. What is 4 minus 8?
4 minus 8 is 4.
Negative 4. Take the sign of the larger number, so the answer would be a negative 4. Remember, whenever you are finding the difference, these are those rules. Same sign, add and keep. Different signs, subtract and take. All right, problem 8 is just like problem number 7, so be careful and think about what to do when there's a negative outside of the parentheses. First things first, do I need the parentheses around the first set of terms? No, I do not. There's nothing to distribute, so I can just drop it down like this. Next up, I need to distribute the negative sign. So our rule is you can change it to a, as long as you do what to everything on the parentheses behind it. Change it to the opposite. So positive 1.4y becomes negative 1.4y. Positive 3 becomes negative 3. Now you are able to underline and circle. All right, so I'm going to underline the y family and circle. Once again, what are the numbers that stand alone called?
Constants.
Constants. Very good. We have to line up the decimal point. A lot of people on the quiz forgot to line up decimal points, okay? This one is pretty simple because it's 2.5 minus 1.4. When you do that, a lot of people here told me negative 1.1y. What's wrong with that?
It's not a negative.
It's not a negative. Take the sign of the larger number, so it's just 1.1y. Now, let's combine the constants. What is negative 7 plus negative 3?
Negative 10.
Negative 10. Number 9 says, simplify the expression using the distributive property. This is the concept that you guys learned during our flipped classroom over 3.3. Okay? A lot of people on their quiz were clueless about this, which tells me you might not have really been listening during the flipped classroom. So remember, anytime you have a number right next door to the parentheses, you need to, should I add it, subtract it, multiply, or divide it? Multiply it. I have to multiply the 4 times the first term and multiply the 4 times the second term. Class, what is 4 times 3m?
12m.
12m. What is 4 times negative, and you could put a 1 here if you wanted, times negative 1n? Negative 4n. All right, here's the deal. The last problem we just did was this right there. There just didn't have this extra part, okay? I added one tiny little extra part, and many people looked like they had no idea what to do. Here's what I want you to remember. The only thing you distribute is this number right here because it's directly next to the parentheses. So because of that, that gets distributed to everything there. On the quiz, this is what a lot of people did. They tried to distribute the 2m. That is not right next to the parentheses, so you do not do anything with that except for drop it down. Then, 4 times 3m is, what's 4 times 3m? 12m. What is 4 times negative n?
Negative 8m.
Negative 4n. Okay, remember this has a coefficient of a 1. Now we're going to combine the like terms, the m family and then the n family. 2m plus 12m is 14m minus 4n. Okay, so the instructions ask us to simplify the expression using the distributive property. Reagan, is there anything that needs to get distributed? Reagan Stevens, what needs to be distributed?
The 5, the 2, and the 6.
No. Other Reagan, what needs to be distributed?
The 5n and the 2.
No. Jocelyn?
3.
The 3, whatever number is on the outside of the parentheses has to be distributed. Should I also distribute it to this 6?
No.
No, you only distribute it to what's inside of the parentheses. Okay, so here we go, guys. What's 3 times 5m?
15n.
15m. What's 3 times negative 2?
Negative 6.
Negative 6. What should I do to this plus 6?
Add to the negative 6.
Just drop it down, okay? Now, if I am underlining and circling my like terms, that's the m family, that's the constant family. What happens to negative 6 and positive 6? They cancel out. What are we left with?
15n.
15m is the final answer. All right, so guys, if you know this kind of stuff, you should do pretty decent on your test tomorrow.